Hi, this is Mike, and I'm going to take just a couple of minutes to explain to you what we're going to be doing in class using Minecraft to understand geometry and surface area. So the EDU or education version that we have allows for some barriers to be able to keep students out of areas until we open them up for them. So the computer version is a little bit different than other versions on the iPad or on gaming systems. So the amount of experience the kids might have is quite varied. So the first couple of sessions, we've got time to come around the back of this gathering place, and each student is assigned a workspace number. So here's 13 and 14, and they enter in there a couple of the skills that they're going to have to be able to understand are the digging and stacking of blocks. So in here, they're able to dig a couple deep and then also stack. So the amount of blocks they have is determined by how much sand, dirt is available here. So the kids in this class have been working once, and they've kind of started filling in patterns and digging and looking at each other's work and getting ideas, and making stacks as tall as they can, but they're limited to the resources that they're able to dig there. So it's in a survival type of mode, if you're familiar with that. They're not surviving by having to fight or gather food or anything, but the survival means that they won't be able to fly and they'll be limited in the resources that they have. So they'll come into this space probably about the third session after they've got the digging skills down. Um, as they enter here, they'll have to walk around the edge, but they'll come and look at the samples of the shaded areas for surface area. And they'll see what the expression or formula is for finding surface area. And they'll see that the dimensions are multiplied together. So here is a 4 by 8. 4 times 8 is 32. So there's several samples, and they'll be able to justify that by counting it, but then also looking at the columns and the rows. So with the samples that are in this room, there's also a number of signs uh, with other places that are shaded in. So on the sign is a letter. They'll have paper that they'll go around um, filling in what the dimensions and the surface area for each of these shapes are. So there's quite a few. They won't have to go through sequentially. So if they want to go to the smaller areas first and build a solid understanding of figuring out that 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 times 5 is 15. This area for model AA is 15 units. So after that day's activities, I'll open up the orange stripe or the golden here. And here they'll have a big blank workspace. They'll walk by uh, this surface area supplier, and across the bottom now they'll have some resources, which are carpet squares that they'll be able to put down onto the floor, and they'll build then a model like they looked at the day before. So put this one down. So after they've covered in a rectangle a 2 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 by 4, they'll put the sign up to the side. 2 times 4, oops, that's 2 times 4 equals 8. So the area for this one equals 8 square units. Okay, so since the whole class will be working at the same time here, there's 3 different large areas for them to spread out, use varying colors, and by the time we're done, we'll have quite a bit filled in here. The last part will open up this area for them to kind of go up in this treehouse environment. Okay, once we get up here, we'll look at more of an irregular shape and figuring out the surface area. Okay, now this first example here, I've used 2 different colors just to point out that you can find the area of one rectangle and then the second rectangle, and if they're combined together, you can find the total surface area. So again, just like before, they'll have a chance to walk through and take a look at the signs to get an understanding and then go ahead and apply their knowledge. So on object C or example C, this is a 2 by 3 is 6 and a 1 by 1. So the surface area for C is 7. So we're going to walk around in here. They'll likely work together on this to walk around and solve and come up with the solution to each of those. And that's how we're going to be using Minecraft to apply what we understand about surface area here. We're going to save this world each day after they're done using it. We have about 45 minutes scheduled for each time. And then after the final save, we'll hold on to it. And when we come to parameter and the unit for parameter, we will revisit this world and revisit the models, but this time reporting on the perimeter of these shapes. Thanks.